The red lights flashed across the bridge of the Shadowclaw as Commander Vexthar looked at the contract on his screen. His long reptilian fingers tapped against the metal arm of his chair. The bounty was small, only 50,000 credits. This made him frown. "Humans," he said to his crew. "They want us to hunt humans." Krillex, his second in command, made a clicking sound with his insect-like mandibles. "Humans. Those new species that just joined the coalition? This seems too easy, Commander." Vexthar's yellow eyes scanned the report again. 5 humans in one ship. They were attacking trade vessels in the Kepler sector. The ship was called the Soul's Pride. It was just a converted cargo ship with basic weapons. "Easy money," Vexthar said. "We have destroyed battle cruisers. We have killed the most dangerous criminals in 3 star systems. 5 humans in a cargo ship? This will take 1 hour." Goroth, the massive rock-like warrior, laughed. The sound was like stones grinding together. "I could crush their ship with my bare hands. Why do they even need us for this job?" Nalmoth, the energy being who glowed blue in the corner, spoke in his wisping voice. "The humans have no reputation. No one knows how they fight. They are new to space travel." Vexthar stood up from his chair. He was 8 feet tall with dark green scales covering his body. Scars from 100 battles marked his arms and face. The Crimson Talon unit had never failed a mission. They were the best mercenaries in the galaxy. "Set course for the Kepler sector," he ordered. "Let us finish this quickly." 3 days later, they found the human ship hiding in an asteroid field. Vexthar looked at it through the main screen. The Soul's Pride was ugly. It had patches of different metals welded onto its hull. Weapons that looked like they came from a scrapyard were attached to its sides. "Pathetic," Krillex said. "Their ship looks like garbage." "Scan their weapons," Vexthar ordered. The ship's computer made beeping sounds. Then it spoke in a calm voice. "Basic pulse cannons, standard mining lasers, no advanced shielding detected. Threat level, minimal." Vexthar smiled, showing his sharp teeth. "Open a channel to their ship." The screen flickered, and a human face appeared. The man had dark hair and serious eyes. He looked young, maybe 30 years old. "This was Captain Lee Jun, human vessel," Vexthar said in his deep voice. "You are surrounded. Surrender now and you will not be harmed." Lee Jun looked at the camera calmly. "I don't think so. You want us? Come and take us." The bridge of the Shadowclaw went quiet. Then Goroth started laughing again. Krillex made more clicking sounds. Even Nalmoth's glow brightened with amusement. "Did he just challenge us?" Krillex asked. "Stupid humans," Goroth said. "They do not know who we are." Vexithar was not angry. He was used to prey trying to act brave before they died. "Very well, human. We will come and take you." He closed the communication and turned to his crew. "Krillex, take us in. Target their engines. We want them alive for questioning." The Shadowclaw moved forward through the asteroid field. Its powerful engines easily pushed the massive ship between the floating rocks. Vexithar had done this 1,000 times before. Corner the prey. Disable their ship, board and capture. But then something strange happened. The Soul's Pride started moving. It turned and dove between 2 large asteroids that were very close together. The Shadowclaw's computer immediately calculated the gap. "Warning," the computer said. "Gap too narrow for safe passage. Recommend alternate course." "They are running into a dead end," Krillex said. "Those asteroids will crush their ship." But the human ship did not get crushed. Instead, it spun sideways and slipped through the gap like it was 3 times smaller than it really was. The movement was impossible. Any crew inside should have been turned into paste by the spinning forces. "How did they do that?" Nalmoth whispered. Vexthar frowned. "Follow them. Use the main path around the asteroids." But by the time the Shadowclaw went around, the Soul's Pride was gone. It had disappeared into the maze of floating rocks. "Find them," Vexthar ordered. The sensors swept the area. They found the human ship hiding behind a large asteroid. It was not moving, it looked like it was waiting. "They are trapped," Krillex said. "There is no way out from that position." "Good. Target their engines and fire." The Shadowclaw's main weapons powered up. Bright blue energy beams shot toward the human ship, but at the last second the Soul's Pride moved again. It shot straight up, using the asteroid as cover. The weapons hit empty space. What? Vexthar growled. How did they know? We were firing? Before anyone could answer, the human ship appeared above them. Its ugly weapons were pointing down at the Shadowclaw. Impossible, Goroth said. They should not be able to get behind us. Then the human weapons fired. Vexthar expected weak pulse, blasts that would bounce off their advanced shields. Instead, focused beams of plasma cut through their defenses like they were made of paper. Alarms started screaming all over the bridge. Shields down to 60%. Kralex shouted. How? Are their weapons so powerful? The human ship spun around and fired again. More plasma beams hit the Shadowclaw. The lights on the bridge flickered. Return fire, Vexthar ordered. The Shadowclaw turned to face the humans, but the Soul's Pride was already moving. It twisted and dove through another impossible gap between asteroids. The mercenary ship's weapons hit rocks instead of their target. This is not possible, Nalmoth said. His blue glow was flickering with confusion. Their ship is too big to move like that. Their crew should be dead from the forces. The human ship appeared on their other side and fired again. This time, something exploded inside the Shadowclaw. The bridge shook, and sparks flew from control panels. Engine room reports damage, Kralex said. They hit our main power coupling. Vexthar could not believe what was happening. The Crimson Talon was losing to 5 humans in a garbage ship. His crew, the most feared warriors in the galaxy, looked scared. How are they doing this? Goroth asked. His rocky face showed confusion. For the first time in years, the human ship moved again, dancing between asteroids like it weighed nothing. Every time the Shadowclaw tried to target it, the Soul's Pride was somewhere else, and every time the humans fired back, their weapons found weak spots in the mercenary ship's defenses. Another explosion shook the bridge. Warning lights flashed red all around them. Commander, Kralex said quietly. We are losing. Vexthar stared at the screen where the human ship moved like a deadly dancer through the asteroid field. His mind could not understand what he was seeing. These were just humans, new to space, primitive weapons, basic ship. So why was his legendary crew running away? All stop, he ordered. Retreat, now. Commander? Kralex asked. Retreat. Vexthar roared. The Shadowclaw turned and fled from the asteroid field. Behind them, the Soul's Pride did not follow. It just sat there, waiting like a patient hunter. As they escaped, Vexthar looked at his damaged ship and his confused crew. Kralex was staring at his instruments like they had betrayed him. Goroth was touching his weapons as if he did not trust them anymore. Nalmoth's glow was dim with shock. They're just humans, Kralex said quietly. So why are we running? Vexthar did not answer. He could not answer. All he knew was that something had changed in the galaxy. The humans were not what they seemed. And for the first time in his long career as a mercenary, Commander Vexthar was afraid. The Shadowclaw limped away into deep space, carrying with it the first whispers of a legend that would soon spread terror throughout the mercenary guilds. The humans were coming, and nobody knew how to stop them. 2 weeks after the Shadowclaw limped back to base, the story spread through every mercenary bar in the galaxy. Commander Vexthar had been defeated. The legendary Crimson Talon unit had run away from 5 humans in a cargo ship. Most mercenaries laughed when they heard it. Impossible, said Captain Zulkar of the Iron Fang unit. He was drinking blue liquid at a space station bar. Vexithar has never lost a battle. Someone is lying. His crew nodded. The Iron Fang were famous for boarding enemy ships. They had captured over 200 vessels without losing a single warrior. Maybe the humans got lucky, said his weapons. Officer. One lucky shot can damage any ship. But then more reports came in. The Void Hunters had tried to catch a human research ship near the Titan Nebula. They failed. The Star Reapers encountered humans near a mining colony. They also failed. Each time the humans won using tactics that made no sense. Captain Zulkar stopped laughing. He called his crew together in their ship's meeting room. "We have a new contract," he said. "The coalition wants us to investigate these human ships. They are worried." His second-in-command, a tall blue alien named Feltar, looked at the datapad. "This is just one ship again. A research vessel called the Busan's Hope. 5 crew members, basic weapons. Same as Vexithar's target," Zulkar said. "But we are better at boarding ships than anyone. We will not make his mistakes." 3 days later, the Iron Fang found the Busan's Hope near a science station. The human ship looked even weaker than the Soul's Pride. It had medical symbols painted on its hull. No heavy weapons, no armor. "Medical ship," Feltar said. "This will be easy." Zulkar smiled. His people were experts at taking ships without destroying them. "Prepare. Boarding pods. We take them alive." The Iron Fang moved close to the human ship. Their boarding pods launched like bullets toward the Busan's Hope. Each pod carried 4 warriors with the best armor and weapons money could buy. The pods attached to the human ship's hull with loud clanging sounds. Cutting tools began burning through the metal. In minutes, the Iron Fang warriors would be inside, but something was wrong. "Sir," one of the boarding team leaders spoke through his radio. "We are inside, but there is something strange here." "What do you mean strange?" Zulkar asked. "The air smells weird, sweet, like flowers, and the lights are flashing in patterns." Zulkar frowned. "Just find the humans and capture them." The boarding team moved through the human ship's corridors. The Iron Fang warriors were big and strong. Their armor could stop bullets. Their weapons could cut through steel. They had captured thousands of enemies before. Then they found the first human. Dr. Kim Yuna was in the medical bay. She was a small woman with kind eyes and gentle hands. She looked harmless. When the warriors entered her room, she raised her hands in surrender. "Please do not hurt me," she said in a scared voice. The team leader stepped forward to put restraints on her. "Doctor," Kim Yuna moved her hand to touch his neck just above his armor. It looked like she was pleading with him. The warrior collapsed immediately. "What happened?" Zulkar heard through the radio. "Team leader is down," another warrior shouted. The human female did something to him. Dr. Kim Yuna was no longer acting, scared. She moved fast, touching 2 more warriors at specific points on their bodies. They fell down, unable to move. "She knows our anatomy," the last warrior said before his radio went silent. "Team 2, report," Zulkar ordered. Team 2 had found Engineer Choi Bin in the engine room. He was a quiet man who looked like he only knew how to fix machines. When the warriors entered, he was working on what looked like a mining laser. "Surrender now," the team leader ordered. Choi Bin looked up and smiled. "1 moment, please. I am almost finished with this modification." He pressed a button. The mining laser made a humming sound, then fired. But instead of a weak mining beam, it shot out a focused ray that cut through the warrior's armor like butter. The team was defeated in seconds. Team 3 found pilot Nari in a storage room. She was hiding behind cargo boxes, apparently trapped. When the warriors surrounded her, she looked hopeless. "Nowhere to run," the team leader said. Nari grinned. "Who said anything about running?" She pressed something on the wall. Suddenly, the artificial gravity in the room changed direction. The warriors fell toward what used to be the ceiling. While they were confused and floating, Nari moved through the room like she knew exactly what would happen. She disabled their weapons and left them floating helplessly. "All teams are down," Feltar reported to Zulkar. "The humans, they were ready for us. But the worst was yet to come." Lieutenant Park Hyun had been waiting in the corridor between all 3 teams. When the confused warriors tried to retreat to their boarding pods, they found their path blocked by one human with weapons that looked like they were built from spare parts. Park Hyun's guns did not look dangerous. They looked like someone had welded together pieces from different alien weapons. But when he fired them, they shot beams that could punch through anything the Iron Fang warriors had ever seen. In 10 minutes, the entire boarding operation was over. 24 elite warriors had been defeated by 5 humans on a medical ship. Zulkar stared at his communication screen. His best warriors were unconscious, trapped, or begging to be rescued. "How?" he whispered. Captain Lee Jun's face appeared on the screen from the human ship. "Your warriors are alive," he said calmly. "We will return them to you. But next time, maybe try asking nicely before you attack a medical vessel." The Iron Fang retrieved their defeated warriors and fled. Within hours, the story was spreading through mercenary channels again. 2 elite units defeated by humans. Both times the humans had won using impossible tactics. Back on his base, Vexithar watched the reports coming in. More mercenary groups were encountering humans. The Stellar Predators, the Cosmic Raiders, the Death's Edge Company. All of them were failing. "Commander," Krillek said quietly, "I have been studying these reports. The humans are not fighting like any species we know." "What do you mean?" Vexthar asked. "Look at this." Krillek showed him a data screen. Dr. Kim Yuna knew exactly where to touch our warriors to paralyze them. She studied our anatomy and found our weak spots. Vexithar looked at more reports. Engineer Choi Bin modified standard mining equipment into military-grade weapons. Pilot Onari used gravity manipulation like she had trained for years. And Lieutenant Park Hyun, Krelex continued. His weapons were made from parts of different alien technologies. He somehow made them work together better than their original designers. Vexthar felt a cold feeling in his stomach. "They are studying us." "More than that," Krylek said. "They are learning from every fight. Each human crew that encounters mercenaries shares information with the others. They know our tactics, our biology, our weaknesses." The reptilian commander looked at his screens showing defeated mercenary units across the galaxy. "How many human ships are out there?" "Intelligence reports say at least 30, Krillek answered. "Maybe more." Vexithar realized the terrible truth. The humans were not pirates or rebels. They were scouts. They were learning everything about alien military forces and sharing that knowledge. "Sir," Nalmuth spoke from his corner. "There is something else. The Mercenary Guild Council has called an emergency meeting. They want to discuss the human problem." "Problem," Vexthar repeated. 5 humans per ship, and they call it a problem. He looked out at the stars and wondered how many more human ships were out there, watching and learning. The galaxy's best, mercenaries were losing to creatures that had been in space for less than 50 years. "They are not just winning," he said quietly. "They are making us afraid." Krillex nodded. "The question is, what do we do about it?" Vexthar did not have an answer. For the first time in his career, he was facing an enemy he did not understand. The humans were changing the rules of warfare, and no one knew how to stop them. The reputation was spreading faster than wildfire. The humans were coming, and they were learning everything. The emergency meeting of the Mercenary Guild Council lasted for 6 hours. Representatives from 12 different species sat around a large table on the neutral station of Haven's Rest. The holographic displays showed defeat after defeat. Human ships were winning against the galaxy's best warriors. Guildmaster Thexlon, an ancient creature with purple skin and 4 arms, spoke in a grave voice. "In 3 months, 37 elite mercenary units have been defeated by human crews. Our reputation is being destroyed." Murmurs of anger filled the room. These were the leaders of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy. They had never faced a threat like this. "I propose a joint operation," said Commander Velnara of the Void Hunters. "No single unit can handle these humans. We combine our forces." "Agreed," said Captain Morduk of the Star Reapers. "We corner one human ship with overwhelming numbers. Show the galaxy that humans can be beaten." All eyes turned to Vexthar. He was the first to encounter humans and the most experienced in fighting them. "Which ship do we target?" Thexalon asked. Vexthar looked at the intelligence reports. "The Soul's Pride, Captain Lee Jun's ship. They are the ones who started this. If we defeat them, we break the human legend." The plan was simple. 5 mercenary units would surround the Soul's Pride near an old mining station called Kepler 7. The humans would have nowhere to run, no asteroids to hide behind, no tricks to save them. 2 days later, the largest mercenary fleet in decades gathered near Kepler 7. The Shadow Claw, the Iron Fang, the Void Hunter, the Star Reaper, and the Death's Edge positioned themselves around the station. 50 ships total, over 2,000 elite warriors, against 5 humans. "This is overkill," said Captain Zulkar over the communication channel. "Good," Vexthar replied. "I want the humans to understand they cannot win against such numbers." The Soul's Pride was docked at the mining station. Scans showed all 5 crew members were aboard the station itself. They appeared to be trapped with no way to escape. "Attention, human vessel," Vexthar broadcast. "You are surrounded by the combined forces of 5 elite mercenary units. Surrender immediately." Captain Li Jun's voice came back calm and steady. "We are not going anywhere, Commander Vexthar. If you want us, come and get us." The same words from their first encounter. But this time, Vexthar had overwhelming force. "Very well," he said. "All units, begin boarding operations." The mercenary fleet launched hundreds of boarding pods toward the mining station. Warriors from different species worked together, moving through the station's many levels. This time, the humans could not use ship maneuvers or space tactics. They were trapped in corridors and rooms, but something was wrong from the very beginning. First team to enter the station found the main corridor filled with strange fog. Their sensors could not identify what it was. When they breathed it in, the Saurian warriors became dizzy and confused. Their leader ordered them to retreat, but they could not find the exit. The corridor seemed to lead in circles. Dr. Kim Yuna, Vexthar realized. She has modified the station's air systems. The second team tried a different route through the maintenance tunnels. These passages were narrow and dark, perfect for ambushes. As they crawled through the metal tubes, the gravity suddenly changed. Instead of pulling them down, it pushed them sideways into the walls. The warriors crashed into each other in the cramped space. "Oh, Nari is controlling the station's gravity systems," reported the team leader before his radio went silent. Team after team entered the station. Each one encountered something impossible. Lights that flashed in patterns that made the insectoid warriors sick. Sounds that caused the energy beings to lose their form. Magnetic fields that disabled the cybernetic implants of the rock people. "How are they doing this?" Captain Morduk asked over the radio. The station was abandoned. It should not have working systems. Vexthar watched his forces get scattered and confused inside the station. Engineer Choi Bin. He has been rewiring the entire station while we surrounded them. The mining station had become a maze of traps. Every corridor was a weapon. Every room was a puzzle designed to defeat specific alien species. The humans had turned the abandoned structure into their fortress. But the mercenaries kept coming. There were too many of them. Eventually, some teams would reach the humans. That was when Lieutenant Park Hyun revealed what he had been doing. Explosions began echoing through the station. Not random explosions, but carefully planned ones. Park Hyun had planted charges that collapsed specific corridors while leaving others open. He was herding the mercenary forces like sheep, forcing them to move where he wanted them to go. The trapped warriors found themselves being pushed toward the station's central hub. It was a large circular room with multiple levels and no cover. Perfect for a final battle. Over 300 mercenary warriors gathered in the hub, expecting to corner the 5 humans. Instead, they found themselves surrounded. The humans appeared on the upper levels of the hub. Captain Li Jun stood calmly on a metal walkway, looking down at the assembled alien forces. Dr. Kim Yuna was nearby with devices that looked like medical scanners, but glowed with dangerous energy. Engineer Choi Bin had set up weapons that appeared to be made from mining equipment and alien technology welded together. Pilot Onari was at a control station, her hands moving over switches that controlled every system in the room. Lieutenant Park Hyun stood ready with his hybrid weapons, all of them pointed at the trapped mercenaries. "You came to hunt us," Captain Li Jun said. His voice echoed through the chamber. "But you walked into our trap. The battle should have been over in seconds. 300 elite warriors against 5 humans. But the humans had prepared for this moment." Dr. Kim Yuna activated her devices. Sonic waves filled the room, each frequency targeted at a specific alien species. The insectoid warriors clutched their heads as their nervous systems were disrupted. The energy beings flickered and lost cohesion. The reptilian warriors became disoriented as the sounds affected their inner ears. Engineer Choi Bin's weapons fired beams that punched through the best armor like it was made of paper. But he was not trying to kill the warriors. Instead, he was destroying their equipment. Weapons, communications, breathing apparatus for species that needed special atmosphere. Onari controlled the station's systems like a conductor leading an orchestra. Gravity fields that trapped some warriors while others floated helplessly. Lights that strobed in patterns that caused seizures in creatures with enhanced vision. Air systems that released gases harmless to humans but caused various alien species to fall unconscious. Lieutenant Park Hyun moved through the chaos like a dancer. His weapons were not standard military equipment. They were combinations of alien technology that should not have worked together, but somehow he made them more effective than their original designs. The battle lasted only 10 minutes. When it was over, 300 elite warriors lay unconscious, disarmed, or trapped in gravity fields. None of them were seriously injured, but all of them were defeated. 5 humans stood victorious in the center of the room. Commander Vexthar watched from his ship as his boarding teams failed to respond. All teams, report status. Captain Lee. Jun's voice came over the communication channel. Your warriors are alive, Commander. They are unconscious, but they will recover. Come aboard the station. I want to talk to you. This is a trap, said Captain Zulkar. Of course it is, Vexthar replied. But I have to know. How did 5 humans defeat our entire force? Vexthar took a small shuttle to the mining station. He found Captain Lee Jun waiting for him in a small office near the docking bay. The human was sitting calmly at a desk, drinking something that smelled like burnt plants. Coffee, Lee Jun explained. Would you like some? Vexthar sat down across from the human. How? How did we win? Lee Jun asked. We studied you, all of you. Every mercenary unit that has fought humans has been analyzed. We know your tactics, your biology, your psychology. Impossible. You have only been in space for 50 years. Lee Jun smiled. Commander, my people have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We are very good at learning from our enemies. Vexthar felt the cold fear again. What are you? We are humans, Lee Jun said simply. And we adapt. Hours later, Vexthar returned to his ship. The mercenary fleet retreated, carrying their defeated warriors and their shattered pride. The news spread across the galaxy within days. 5 humans had defeated a combined fleet of 50 ships and 300 elite warriors. The impossible had become reality. In mercenary bars across the galaxy, warriors who had never known fear began to understand a new emotion. The humans were not just winning. They were teaching the galaxy a lesson about what it meant to be the predator instead of the prey. The hunters had become the hunted. News of the Kepler-7 defeat spread through the galaxy like wildfire. 5 mercenary units with 50 ships had been humiliated by 5 humans. The story grew bigger with each telling. Some said the humans had killed hundreds of warriors. Others claimed they had magical powers. But the truth was worse than any story. Commander Vexthar sat alone in his quarters aboard the Shadowclaw. Medical reports covered his desk. Reports from the 300 warriors who had been defeated at the mining station. None of them were seriously hurt, but all of them were changed. The Saurian warriors had developed something their doctors called anxiety responses. They jumped at loud sounds. They could not sleep properly. Some refused to enter enclosed spaces. The insectoid soldiers were worse. Their collective mind link, which had made them so effective in battle, was broken. They could not coordinate with each other anymore. Many had requested transfers to non-combat duties. The energy beings reported pattern disruption syndrome. They could not maintain their physical forms for long periods. Some flickered in and out of existence randomly. Even the mighty rock people, who feared nothing in the universe, showed signs of psychological damage. They moved slowly and questioned every order. Their confidence was shattered. They broke us without killing us, Vexthar said to himself. His door chimed. Krillix entered carrying a data pad. The insectoid warrior looked different now. His movements were jerky and uncertain. His mandibles clicked nervously. "Commander," Krillix said, "I have the analysis you requested." Vexthar looked at his second-in-command. Before the human encounters, Krillix had been confident and sharp. Now he seemed afraid of his own shadow. "What did you find?" Vexthar asked. "I studied the human databases that Captain Li Jun allowed us to access," Krillix said. "The information is disturbing." He activated the datapad. Images of human history appeared on the screen. Vexthar saw pictures of human wars that lasted for years. Weapons that could destroy entire cities. Battles where millions of humans fought other humans. "They have been fighting wars for over 10,000 years, Krillix said. "Not just against other species. Against themselves." Vexthar frowned. "Most species stop fighting once they develop space travel. Not humans," Krillix continued. "They perfected warfare before they reached the stars. Look at this." The screen showed human military academies. Schools where young humans learned strategy, tactics, and combat. Vexthar realized that every human soldier received training that was more advanced than what most alien species gave their elite warriors. "They study war like we study science," Krillix said. "It is their specialty." More images appeared. Humans had fought in every environment their planet offered. Frozen wastelands, burning deserts, deep oceans, high mountains. They had developed tactics for every situation. "But here is the worst part," Krillix said. His voice was barely a whisper. "They evolved to be warriors." The screen showed human evolution. Vexthar saw how humans had developed as hunters. Not just hunters of animals, but hunters of other intelligent creatures. Their brains had grown larger to outsmart their prey. Their bodies had become more efficient to chase enemies for days without stopping. "Most species became intelligent to avoid predators," Krillix explained. "Humans became intelligent to become better predators." Vexthar felt cold. "You mean they are natural killers?" "Worse," Krillix said. "They are natural learners. Every battle teaches them something new. Every enemy makes them stronger." The datapad showed more disturbing information. Human military doctrine was based on something called adaptive strategy. They did not rely on fixed battle plans like other species. Instead, they changed their tactics during combat based on what they learned about their enemies. Dr. Kim Yuna's medical knowledge, Krillix continued. She studied alien anatomy not to heal, but to find weaknesses. Engineer Choi Bin's modifications. He understands alien technology better than the species who built it. Pilot Onari's maneuvers. She learned our ship capabilities and found ways to exceed them. Vexthar realized the horrible truth. They are not just winning battles. They are studying us. Every human ship in Coalition space is gathering intelligence, Krillix confirmed. They share information through something called the Human Intelligence Network. Every encounter with aliens teaches all human crews something new. The screen showed a map of Coalition space. Red dots marked locations where human ships had been spotted. There were hundreds of them. Each dot represented a crew learning about alien military capabilities. "How many human ships are really out there?" Vexthar asked. "Intelligence estimates over 200, Krillix said. "Maybe more. They disguise themselves as traders, researchers, tourists, and refugees. But they are all gathering data." Vexthar stood up and walked to his window. Outside, space looked the same as always, but now he knew that human ships could be anywhere, watching and learning. "There is more," Krillix said reluctantly. "What?" "The psychological profiles. Captain Li Jun gave us access to human military psychology databases. They have studied how different species think and react in combat." The screen showed detailed files on dozens of alien species. Each file contained information about psychological weaknesses, fear responses, and behavioral patterns. Saurians relied on hierarchy. and became confused when their command structure was disrupted. Insectoids used collective thinking that could be broken by interfering with their communication. Energy beings were vulnerable to specific frequencies that destabilized their consciousness. Rock people had rigid thought patterns that could not adapt quickly to change. They know exactly how to break each species psychologically, Krillix said. That is why our warriors are having mental problems. The humans did not just defeat us physically, they attacked our minds. Vexthar felt sick. Are you saying they can control how we think? Not control, Krylak said. But they can predict how we will react to different situations. They can make us afraid, confused, or angry. They can manipulate our emotions to make us make mistakes. The reptilian commander realized that every encounter with humans had been planned. The humans knew exactly how each alien species would react. They had prepared counters for every possible tactic. Sir, Kralik said quietly, there are reports coming in from across the galaxy. Mercenary units are refusing contracts that might involve humans. Some are requesting hazard pay for any mission, in systems where humans have been spotted. Vexthar was not surprised. Fear was spreading through the mercenary community like a disease. Warriors who had fought the most dangerous criminals in the galaxy were now afraid of cargo ships with human crews. The economic impact is severe, Krylak continued. Several mercenary companies have gone out of business. Others are charging 3 times their normal rates. The Mercenary Guild Council is considering emergency measures. What kind of measures? Some members want to ban all contracts involving humans. Others want to hire human crews to fight other humans. A few are suggesting we should leave Coalition space entirely. Vexthar laughed, but there was no humor in it. Leave? We are the elite warriors of the galaxy. We do not run from anyone. With respect, Commander, Krylak said, we already ran. At Kepler 7, 300 of the galaxy's best warriors ran from 5 humans. The truth hit Vexthar like a physical blow. The Crimson Talon, the Iron Fang, the Void Hunters, the Star Reapers, the Death's Edge, all of them had fled from humans. The reputation they had built over decades was destroyed in a few months. What do we do? Vexthar asked. Krillix was quiet for a long moment. I do not know, Commander. How do you fight an enemy that learns from every battle? How do you defeat warriors who become stronger each time you face them? Vexthar looked at the star charts on his wall. Somewhere out there, human ships were continuing their missions, learning, adapting, growing stronger. Maybe, he said slowly, the question is not how to fight them. Maybe the question is whether we should fight them at all. The thought terrified him more than any battle he had ever faced. Commander Vexthar, who had never surrendered to any enemy, was considering surrender to a species that had been in space for less than 50 years. Outside his window, the stars seemed different now. Each point of light could hide a human ship. Each system could contain crews that knew more about alien warfare than the aliens themselves. The galaxy was changing, and the mercenaries who had once ruled it were learning what it felt like to be prey. 6 months after the Kepler 7 incident, the galaxy was a different place. The Mercenary Guild Council had called another emergency meeting, but this time the mood was desperate. Half the seats around the table were empty. Many mercenary companies had simply disappeared, their crews too afraid to take contracts. Guildmaster Thexlon looked older than his 800 years. His forearms shook as he spoke. The human problem has become a crisis. Our industry is collapsing. The remaining guild leaders looked defeated. Captain Zulkar of the Iron Fang had dark circles under his eyes. Commander Velnara spoke in whispers. Captain Morduk had not said a word during the entire meeting. Show them the latest reports, Thexlon ordered. The holographic display filled with data that made everyone's blood run cold. Human crews were now actively hunting mercenary units. They no longer waited to be attacked. They sought out the most dangerous warriors in the galaxy and challenged them to fights. Every single engagement ended the same way. The humans won. The Soul's Pride destroyed the Crimson Blade Company last week, Thexlon said. 5 humans against 40 elite warriors. It took them 20 minutes. The Busan's Hope captured the entire Shadow Moon fleet without firing a shot, another guild member reported. They used psychological warfare to make the crews surrender. The Incheon's Thunder turned 3 mercenary ships against each other using electronic warfare, said a third. The ships destroyed themselves while the humans watched. Vexthar sat quietly in his chair. His reptilian features had aged noticeably in the past months. The proud commander who had once ruled the battlefield now looked like a broken old warrior. There is worse news, Thexlon continued. Intelligence reports suggest the humans are preparing for something big. They have been gathering in the outer rim territories. The display showed star charts with red markers indicating human ship movements. Instead of being scattered across coalition space, the human vessels were concentrating in one region. How many ships? Someone asked. Over 300 confirmed, Thexlon replied. Possibly more. The guild leaders exchanged worried glances. 300 human ships meant at least 1,500 human crew members. All of them trained in warfare. All of them sharing intelligence about alien military capabilities. What do they want? Captain Zulkar asked weakly. Before anyone could answer, alarms began sounding throughout the station. The council chamber's doors opened, and a security officer rushed in. Guildmaster, the officer said breathlessly. We have an incoming transmission. It is from Captain Li Jun of the human vessel Soul's Pride. Thexlon's forearms trembled. Put him on screen. Captain Li Jun's face appeared on the main display. He looked calm and confident, sitting in what appeared to be a much larger ship than the cargo vessel he had commanded before. Behind him, other humans could be seen working at advanced control stations. Guildmaster Thexlon, Li Jun said politely. I hope I'm not interrupting anything important. What do you want, human? Thexlon asked, trying to sound strong but failing. I want to make you an offer, Li Jun replied. Actually, I want to make all of you an offer. The guild leaders looked at each other in confusion. What could humans possibly offer them? For the past year, my people have been studying galactic warfare, Li Jun continued. We have learned much about how different species fight, how they think, and how they can be defeated. This knowledge has made us very effective at what we do. Get to the point, Vexthar growled. Li Jun smiled. The point is that the age of alien-controlled mercenary forces is over. Human crews are faster, smarter, and more adaptable than any military force the galaxy has ever seen. Impossible, Captain Morduk finally spoke. You are just one species. We represent dozens of races with thousands of years of military experience. Experience with old methods, Li Jun said. You fight the way your ancestors fought. You use the same tactics, the same strategies, the same thinking. But war is not about tradition. War is about evolution. And humans evolve faster than any species you have ever encountered. The display changed to show footage of recent human victories. The guild leaders watched in horror as their best warriors were systematically defeated by tactics they had never seen before. We studied your biology and found your physical weaknesses, Li Jun explained as the footage played. We analyzed your psychology and learned your mental limitations. We examined your technology and improved it beyond your understanding. Dr. Kim Yuna appeared on screen beside Li Jun. We can defeat any alien warrior because we understand alien anatomy better than alien doctors do. Engineer Choi Bin joined them. We can destroy any alien ship because we understand alien technology better than alien engineers do. Pilot Oh Nari and Lieutenant Park Hyun also appeared. The entire crew of the Soul's Pride was together, but they were clearly on a much larger vessel now. Every human crew that has operated in coalition space has been gathering intelligence, Li Jun continued. We now have complete tactical profiles on every major alien species. We know how you fight, how you think, and how you can be beaten. What is your offer? Thexlon asked, his voice barely a whisper. Earth is offering a new contract to the Mercenary Guild Council, Li Jun said. Not as our enemies, but as our junior partners. The guild leaders stared at the screen in shock. Junior partners? Vexthar repeated. The galaxy needs military forces to maintain order, Li Jun explained. But those forces will now be led by humans. We are offering existing mercenary units the chance to serve under human command. You will receive training in modern warfare tactics. You will be equipped with improved weapons and technology. And you will be part of the most effective military organization the galaxy has ever seen. And if we refuse? Captain Zulkar asked. Li Jun's expression remained calm, but his words sent chills through the room. Then you will be replaced. Earth has a population of 12 billion humans. Our military academies are already training crews for 5,000 ships. Within 2 years, human forces will control every major shipping lane and conflict zone in coalition space. The display changed to show images of massive shipyards around Earth. Hundreds of vessels were under construction. Each one was designed using knowledge gathered from the Human Intelligence Network. You see, Li Jun said, we did not come to the stars to be conquered or to conquer. We came to learn. And now we have learned everything we need to know. Dr. Kim Yuna spoke next. We understand alien biology better than you do. Engineer Choi Bin added, we can build better ships using your own technology. Pilot Onari said, we can fly circles around your best pilots. Lieutenant Park Yun finished, and we can defeat your strongest warriors without breaking a sweat. Captain, Li Jun leaned forward in his chair. The choice is simple. Join us and become part of something greater than any single species could achieve. Or continue to oppose us and watch as human crews gradually take over every military operation in known space. Guildmaster Thexelon looked around the table at his fellow guild leaders. He saw fear in every face. These were warriors who had conquered star systems, but they were terrified of one species that had been in space for less than 50 years. How long do we have to decide? Thexelon asked. You have already decided, Li Jun replied. The moment you realized you could not defeat us, you chose survival over pride. Commander Vexthar learned this lesson 6 months ago. The rest of you learned it at Kepler 7. Vexthar stood up slowly. The proud reptilian warrior who had once commanded the most feared mercenary unit in the galaxy walked to the communication console. I accept, he said quietly. The Crimson Talon unit requests to join the human military network. One by one, the other guild leaders stood and made the same declaration. Captain Zulkar, Commander Vel Nara, Captain Morduk, all of them surrendered to a species they had once considered primitive. Excellent, Li Jun said. Welcome to the new galaxy. Human transport ships will arrive at your locations within the week to begin your integration training. The transmission ended, leaving the guild leaders alone with their decision. We just surrendered our entire civilization to a species that has been in space for 50 years. Captain Zulkar said in disbelief. Vexthar looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, hundreds of human ships were patrolling space that had once belonged to alien mercenaries. No, he said slowly, we did not surrender to a primitive species. We surrendered to the apex predators of galactic warfare, and perhaps that is the wisest decision we have ever made. The age of alien military dominance was over. The humans had not conquered the galaxy through force, but through something far more dangerous. Superior intelligence and the ability to learn faster than any enemy could adapt. They were not just humans anymore. They were the future of warfare itself.